Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is the sewing part for this dress. If you have not watched the pattern drafting for the style, please do well to watch the pattern drafting first before proceeding to watch this video. I'll put the link to the pattern drafting in the description box. I have this white crepe fabric here. It is about 2 yards, and for the black it is 1 yard, and I'll be making use of an invisible zip. And for each of the fabric I have my lining. This is my front pattern, the upper part, and I am transferring it to fabric. I am adding ½ inch allowance to the top, and for the side joining I'll add 1.5 inches. For the other parts of the pattern I'll only add ½ inch, except for the side joining. So just watch the way I am cutting it out. After cutting out, I am going to notch the parts where there will be pleats there. Notch all the parts that you are going to put pleats on this fabric. It is important to notch because that is what will help you to easily know the part you are going to pleat. I'll take out the pattern now, and I'm going to use the pin to secure the part I am going to plait. You can make your plait facing any side that you want. It all depends on how it looks. If it looks okay, you're going to cut out your lining the same way you cut out the fabric. So go ahead and cut out your lining first before making the pleats. So I've made the first 2 pleats, and for this other side we only have 1 pleat here, so I'm just going to use the pin to secure it down like this. This is the lower part for the front, and I'm going to separate this pattern into 2. I'm going to place my ruler like this and connect the line from the center point there all the way down, and I'll cut it out. I'll go ahead now and transfer this pattern to fabric. I have cut it out here, and I have added all the necessary allowance. Don't forget, for the side joining it has to match for both the upper part and the lower part, so that is 1.5 inches for the side joining. And for the other side of the pattern I added ½ inch, and at the bottom I added extra 5 inches because I want the length of the dress to be a bit long. For the back pattern, I have also transferred the pattern to fabric, and I added all the necessary allowance. Note your dart and take note of the length of the dart you'll be stitching. I have 2 pieces for the back. You're going to cut your lining the same way you cut out the fabric. And for the lower part, I closed my dart. You can see I already closed my dart, and I have already transferred to fabric. At the bottom also, for this back, I added 5 inches to the bottom allowance, just like I did with the front. You are going to cut out your lining the same way you cut out the main fabric. These are my front pieces, the lower part, and I'm going to join this part together. Place it together, right side facing each other. Use your pin to secure it down and take it to the sewing machine and stitch with ½ inch. Do the same thing to your lining piece also. This is after I was done stitching, and this is what we have. I used my iron to press it flat, so press your seam flat and do the same thing to your lining piece. So this is the upper part, and I'm just going to join it to the lower part. But if you have any excess there like I have with mine, you can trim it out. To join both pieces, place it together like this. Make sure that the right side is facing each other. You're going to first secure the sharp points together. Secure that together with a pin before you start stitching, and then you're going to turn it like you see me doing with mine, and you're going to start stitching from one side and you go over to the other side and stitch. But first, use your pin to secure it down so that it will be easy when you go over to the sewing machine. This is after I was done stitching, and you can see what we have. I used the overlocker to finish up the raw edges, and this is what we have. Make sure to press it after stitching. Also, I have done the same thing to my lining piece. Exactly what I did to the main piece is what I did to the lining piece, and I also pressed it properly. Moving on to the back piece now. This is the upper part for the back, and I have also cut out my lining, and first we are going to work on the upper part. I'll go ahead now and stitch my darts in place on both the main fabric and the lining, and I'll bring it back and show you. After stitching the darts, go ahead and press it flat, and this is what you should have. The next step is to join the lower part to this upper part. Place the upper part on the lower part. Make sure that the right side is facing each other. Pin it down and go ahead and stitch with 1/2 inch. I'll do the same thing on the other side also, and I'll bring it back and show you. This is after stitching, and the next step is to join the front to the back. So first I'm going to join it at the shoulder, and then I'll proceed to join it at the side. So pin the shoulder together, make sure that the right side is facing each other. Pin it together and stitch it with 1/2 inch. For the side joining, I'm going to use 1.5 inches to join it together. That is the allowance I left on the side. So the same process we are doing to the main fabric, you are going to repeat it on the lining. The method I'm using to join it is fabric to fabric and lining to lining. I feel like for this style, the easiest way to join it together, since I'll be using a full lining, is to do it fabric to fabric and lining to lining. That is an inseam finishing. You won't be seeing any seam outside. The inside of the dress will be as neat as the outside. For the waistline of both the front and the back, make sure that where you have the joining matches for both the front and the back. Where you have the joining of the white and the black, make sure that it matches for both the front and the back. You don't want one side of the front to go up and the other side of the back to go down. So everything has to match up nicely. So I'll repeat the same process for this other side. I'll pin it together and I'll take it to the sewing machine and stitch. After I was done stitching, I went ahead to press the seam flat. So make sure that you press after stitching, and also do the same thing to your lining. The next step is to go ahead and fix the zip. I am done fixing the zip here, and you will notice that I didn't start the zip from the top, exactly from the top. Make sure that you leave a space of at least 1/2 inch before you start fixing the zip. For the slits at the side of the dress, I'll do 8 inches. My dress is just a knee length gown. I'm just going to do 8 inches for the slit, and at the bottom I'll take out 2 inches. If you are making your dress like a 3/4 length dress, you can make your slit as long as you want, and at the bottom you can take out more than 2 inches. You can do 3 inches or even 4 inches depending on how wide you want the slit to be. For mine, because it is just a knee length dress, I'm doing just 8 inches, and I'll cut out the same thing on my lining piece. The next step is to join the main fabric and the lining together, but first I'll be joining at the neckline. Place the two pieces together, make sure that the right side is facing each other, and you're going to join at the neckline. You're going to use 1/2 inch allowance to stitch around the neckline. You can secure it together with your pin first, and make sure that for any part you have a joining, make sure that it matches both on the main fabric and the lining. Go ahead and stitch with 1/2 inch allowance, and once you are done stitching, top stitch on the lining. After stitching and also top stitching on the lining, you can use hemming gum to press the neckline properly. Make sure that you press it well. And the next step is to join your lining together with the main fabric at the zip area. So make sure that you stop exactly where your zip stop. Where you stop stitching your zip on the main fabric is where you are also going to stop on the lining. I hope you understand what I mean. But when you're stitching and when you get to that part, you will understand. Do the same thing on the other side. You're going to join it together and stop exactly where your stitch ends on the main fabric. After joining the zip area, you're going to join the bottom together. And at this point, when you are done joining the bottom together with the lining, the only part you are going to bring it out is at the armhole, because every other part on the dress will be closed. The only space you'll be left with is the armhole. So now I am pinning the main fabric together with the lining at the bottom. You are going to stitch all around the bottom together with 1/2 inch. You can start stitching from the parts where you have the slit first, and make sure that after stitching that part, you add hemming gum to it so that by the time you're pressing it, it will stay nice and flat. After stitching the slit part, you can proceed to hem the bottom. Also, you can add hemming gum to the bottom while stitching so that by the time you turn it inside out and you press it, everything is going to stay nice and flat. I'll take it to the sewing machine now and stitch with 1/2 inch. This is after I was done stitching and I have turned it to the right side. Don't forget, I said you're going to turn it from the armhole. You're going to bring everything outside to the right side from the armhole. That is the only part that is opened on this dress. The next step now is to fix in my sleeve. I have a video on how to draft a basic sleeve pattern, but a long sleeve pattern. It is on my channel. I'll put the link to the video in the description box so that you can watch it and know how I came about mine. I'll go ahead now and attach my sleeve to the dress. A quick one before we end this video. Before I fixed my sleeve, I went ahead to fit the dress first because that is the only part open, so that I can know if there is any adjustment to be made on the dress. And I noticed that the pleat on the side was not sitting nicely. It wasn't giving at all. To correct that, I loosed the pleat and I stitched it in as a dart. So the only part we have pleats left is on this side. These two pleats, they were sitting nicely. So that is what I thought to show you so that you can make your own adjustments while stitching. Thank you guys for watching. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, leave a comment, share this video with your friends, and please subscribe to my channel. Turn on your notification bell so you will get notified anytime I upload a new video. I see all your comments, likes, and shares on my videos. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.